Looking for help with course design and installations? A new disc or other accessories for your game? Well, OzDiscs has a huge range of all disc golf equipment in stock. 5% of each sale goes back to support your local club through their rewards program. Also, did we mention they have next day shipping? Well, jump online and check out OzDiscs now at www.ozdiscs.com.au. For over 10 years, the Flying Disc Store has stocked Australia's largest range of flying disc products. From disc golf discs and bags to ultimate frisbees, throw and catch discs and dog discs, the Flying Disc Store has everything you need. As part of our support of the Tee-Off, the Flying Disc Store would like to provide Tee-Off listeners with 5% off any purchase in the store. Just use the code TEEOFF5 when checking out to get your discount. Visit www.flyingdiscstore.com.au today to grab a deal. And if you have any questions, be sure to contact their friendly staff. And welcome back to the Tee-Off, an Australian podcast about the awesome sport of disc golf. This is episode 83, and I did get that right this time, Tim. My name is Paddy Robinson. I'm here with Tim Bowen. It's a Sunday morning, and it's pretty cold.
And I'm pretty hungover, Paddy. We had Cameron Ford's birthday yesterday. And,
we did.
Fair to say, open slather at the bar, and we're feeling it today.
Well, I was a little bit more sensible because I stupidly brought both our kids.
Yeah, okay.
So
you were on the fairway. I just think I was on the fairway too. Someone who was well and truly off the fairway was Cam Ford himself.
Yeah, and well and truly deep in the rough.
Yep.
Deep in the rough. Shorty Freeman.
Oh, he DNF'd. That was a straight up DNF. I hear rumours of
Yali Smith.
hear rumours of a lost phone, Ryan Deere style, and someone's cleaning up a mess on the train is what I hear. But look, I'm feeling good by comparison.
That's good, yeah. So we decided to do a pod instead of spend time with our families or go play disc golf. But straight into it. We've news and updates. There's probably not a whole heap. To be honest,
I'm global and trending, Paddy. There was one bit of news. A snippet of our commentary made it onto Small Bore Outlaw YouTube, which
true. I did see this.
He puts compilations of funny disc golf moments, and someone sent in me just saying nobody likes disc golf lefties.
Yeah.
So I didn't think it was that controversial of a statement at the time, and basically I'm just having a direct crack at Ryan Michelle.
Just the truth. Yeah.
Just having a direct crack at Ryan Michelle and Darren Stay-Smith. But it was good to see our voices make that little funny YouTube video.
Well, I think the only other one that we've been on there a couple of times actually. I think there was that hole at Crater Lakes.
That's right. When the hurricane hole. That was funny.
Yeah. Go check them out. They're it's good to watch.
It's good to see people clipping our shenanigans and putting them in there. Yeah, that's for sure.
100%. All right. Well, I did have something prepped for, I don't know, what do you want to call it? Like the reflection, or it's not really a tip of the week. But
let's reflect though. We're reflecting.
Reflect. So over the last couple of weeks, Timmy, as you know, I've had a pretty rough run in the family.
Mate, gastro with kids, just the literal words, isn't it?
Well, I went from COVID and then I was good for about 5 days and then we got gastro. So my two young boys, they had it. If you've ever experienced a 4-year-old and a under 1-year-old with gastro, I'll pray for you because it was shocking. And then I got it as well. It tends to happen as well when they vomit in your face. But look, I was looking for something to do, to try and take the edge off, feeling absolutely miserable. So I chucked Throwlers on. It didn't really help.
Yeah, mate.
But it turns out, Timmy, we get a few mentions on there.
Oh, look, we are one of the focal points of Throwlers, I feel. I mean, most weeks.
I'm happy that we can bring them some content outside of like a Melbourne social day because they don't happen all that often. But look, there was a few things that I want to sort of reflect on, and I've been sort of reflecting on. The first one, so Chris and Alan, they shouted me out and they'll basically put me on the spot to say I made a comment about the AB and Gannon finish to the Northwest Champs.
Yeah.
So it was the
AB chokeathon. He missed.
Yeah, the missed putt. So I've got what they've said here. We'll have a quick listen.
And he nearly airballed it. I saw some commentary calling it a spit out, and I just have a good hard look at yourself if you think that's a spit out. Like, it's not what a spit out is, and it actually frustrates me. They're like, "Oh, that's a spit out," and like, what are you talking about? That was closer to an airball.
Did you watch it?
Like that's not a spit out. What are you talking about? Anyway, Gattenberg gets the chocolates.
Yeah, crazy. And that was Paddy Robinson's, by the way, for sure. Was like, that was a spit out. And I was like, wrong.
Yeah.
So I called it, when I called it a spit out, we're there watching in the spoilers chat, and there was a few guys who weren't watching it. Mm-hmm. When it happened and he missed the putt, they were like, what happened? I was like, I spat out of the basket. So that's what they're talking about. But I've been thinking about this and the whole context around like a good putt, a bad putt, spit out, not spit out, what Chris is talking about there. I think I've changed my mind a little bit about it. So I think you can have a good putt at a basket and then it doesn't stay in, whether that's whether it's spat out of the chains, like it's hit there and it's come back off the pole or whatever you want to call it, but it's spat out of the basket, out of the chains. Or you can have a bad putt and then it either stays in or it spits out. So I'm a little bit confused on how to actually, the terminology behind it, Tim, and I'm sure you've got an opinion on it, but I saw the AB putt. It wasn't a good putt. It was right. It had like at least 75% of that disc caught chains. And then on that right side, and then it didn't catch, missed the catcher, and it spat out of the basket. So that's how I'm kind of thinking about it now, because I've seen really bad putts
hang on.
catch.
I just want to say, like, get off the fence. Are you saying that is a spit out, or are you saying that's a missed putt, what AB did?
Is that how we're, like, is that what it is, though? So
that's a missed putt. It's a missed putt.
It's a missed putt?
Yeah.
So should we just do away with spit out?
So, Paddy, I'm going to school you on a few terms here, mate.
Righto, go on.
So, spit out refers to putts that should have stayed in the basket that didn't. Whether that spits back out at you or whether it slides through the chains, I call that a spit out. If you have a putt like AB's that wasn't a good putt, if that were to catch, you would say that's a great catch because that wasn't a great putt. The fact that it hit a lot of chains and then splashed out, I don't call that a spit out. I'll call it a splash out.
A splash out.
I'll call it a splash out. It splashed out. But that's not inferring that it was a good putt that should have stayed in the basket. That is a missed putt that happened to splash out. That's how it missed. Yeah. But it was a missing putt.
I would define his putt as a bad putt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm happy to change it to he splashed out of the basket.
He splashed out. So I think save the word spit out for a putt that should have stayed in the tray that didn't.
Yeah.
However it got out of that tray, does regardless. Like, it doesn't matter if it actually spat out or whether it slid out or it bounced out or whatever.
I'm going to start saying spit-ins now.
Spit-ins. Well, I mean, that could be a good term because, I mean, everybody...
You go back and watch the Vic Open footage and tell me how many spit-ins Ryan did.
That's it. I think everybody points out how many spit-outs they got, and if they get dirty spit-out, they're like, oh, that was the worst thing ever. They might have got 5 or 6 spit-ins.
Yeah.
And they just brush over those. Nobody looks at those. I feel guilty when they go in, the spit-ins.
Yeah.
I'm like, good catch. Thanks, basket. By the way, do we have a little bit of a nickname for certain targets? I think that popped up during the week.
Oh, yeah, we do. So we heard this on another separate socials. And it's like, we're Aussies. We love a good nickname, and the nickname of Big W.
So why are we calling, first of all,
which
baskets are we calling Big Ws? I say the RPMs. I think we know. Some people will argue the Rad V1s are Big Ws.
Yeah, I think even the what is it, the black hole?
Oh, the Rad black hole. No, the RPM Black Hole Pro, is it? No.
It's
MVP Black Hole Pro.
Yeah, some of them. Oh, or an M14.
Anyway.
Yeah, definitely Big W. But
why are these getting called Big Ws?
Because because they're a shit target.
So make sure you let us know in the comments there which targets you think are the big W's.
It's a big W. I like that too. But
I said Rad straight away, and Fergie, who we haven't received a message from in weeks, was like, "Oi, take that back." Alrighty, Ferg. Sorry, mate.
And yeah. We love, Fergie's a very good mate of ours, so we love ragging on him a bit. But look, the other thing that I did here on Throwlers as well, and I got to shout them out because, they've been helping me out, Tim, over the last, I didn't realise this, but they've been helping me out. They've been looking out for me over the last, 2 or 3 years. So when I'll just play the clip and then I'll comment on it. Here's a clip.
There was an episode called 1,000 Rated Paddy, I believe. And that's because he came out of a bit of a hibernation and was looking like the Paddy of old. So we spotted this well over a year ago. So good on us to good on us for Paddy being 980 something rated.
Exactly.
Have I done that
right? We
right?
should take all the credit. Yeah, you've nailed it. Correct.
So thanks, boys. My hibernation was called being a nurse during COVID and then becoming a first-time father, while also getting diagnosed with an inflammatory bowel disease. But yes, they're talking about when I first came back, I wasn't playing very well. I dropped to 950s something rated, and then I've been slowly working my way back, trying to train and prep and get the body a bit better, and I'm now back to the 980s. So a big thanks to the Throller boys for one, calling, shouting me out in public and then helping me get back to a reasonable rating where I think I like to sit. So
it's good to know that your trough of 950 is significantly higher than the peak of both of those boys, but that may be a different episode entirely.
Oh, there was some episode where Alan's talking about him having goals, but I say this to Alan actually. He's been playing disc golf a long time. He doesn't have any kids. Why isn't he better?
That's a good point.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Actually, no, I do have one final last thing. So we used to do a couple of between segments, we'd have little shout outs. I went digging the other day and I found in our little archives this gem.
I'm Alan Brunsting from Melbourne Disc Golf, and you're listening to The Tee Off.
So he loves the show, so we're going to bring that in a little bit more. I've put it permanently on the board here, Tim. So it's this purple button. You can use it whenever you want.
They never ask us to do an intro for Throwlers. I feel sad.
No,
I love Throwlers.
Oh, yeah. Do you? Anyway, moving on. We've got some news to get into.
What's news around the world, around Australia? What's news? What's happened and who's spoken?
Now, Timmy, there hasn't been a whole heap on. We did the last episode. We went through a couple of things. There's a couple of Aussie ones we're going to quickly recap, but there has been some Pro Tour events that have happened. We're going to quickly brush over them because there's been a little bit of time. But the LA Open was on. I didn't watch much of the MPO because it was over in Europe. The FPO were on at a perfect time. I think they started about 5 p.m. here in Australia. So I got to watch quite a bit of that. But the MPO, pretty well, it was a bit of a Ricky choke, to be honest. I think he was 3 strokes up and then Nicholas came back. Ricky had a shocking back 9 and Nicholas won by 1 stroke. I think the photo getting round of Ricky looking a bit sour grapes.
It's good. There's a good photo that
popped up on all our socials. But good to see Nicholas getting a win. He's having a really stellar breakout year. Again, just getting stronger and stronger. FPO, though, was where it was at because we've been watching Kristen and Silva Saarinen having a bit of a battle over the last couple of years, and some of these young girls are really up and coming. Silva, as we know, she's choked on a couple of times and Kristen's got the chocolates, but not this event. It's been reversed. She played the old Uno reverse card. Kristen looked really, really strong, but then bogeyed a couple of holes. Silva just had it, just really, really strong, cool, calm, collected, and ended up getting a 1-stroke win over her. So
you're telling me old Silver Place Saarinen got a win?
Yeah.
There you go.
She's golden now, mate. Yeah, it was great to watch.
Maybe the monkey's off the back. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it was... she seemed to she was really dialed in with her caddy. There was some of the things that I sort of noticed as well. She's a very serious player. it's nice to see at the end. I know it's, they're obviously taking it very seriously, but it's good to see a smile after the round for that final putt dropped.
Doesn't crack many smiles, does she?
No.
Well, it's funny you mentioned, Silver's form, because the 2025 PDGA United States Women Disc Golf Championships presented by Discraft and Sea Hafer News.
Jeez.
Is on right now. And Silver sitting in 8th place tied for 9th with 1 round to go.
Yeah.
Kristen's 1 shot ahead of her, but the leader, Hannah Bloomross, followed by Emily Weatherman and Hayley King. So
yeah.
interesting one. All going down to tomorrow's round.
Yeah, I did catch a little bit of it this morning. There's been a couple of cool little highlights. I think Evelina got an ace on footage, and the courses look okay. But I think from the comments that some of the girls were making, so they're playing 2 courses. The course for the first 2 rounds were maybe, from what they're saying, it sounded like they were a little bit jank. Like you had to get a bit lucky on a few shots in there. But today and tomorrow look like the course is a bit more fair. Kristen shot a 7 down today, so it'll be interesting to see how she goes tomorrow, because I think she's only about 4 or 5 off the lead.
Yeah, she's going to win, mate. Take it from me, she's going to win.
I
just had a look. Evelina Salonen missed 10 C1X putts today. She had 20 C1X putts. That's an enormous amount of putts for a round, and she missed 10 of them. Crazy. Henna herself, she's averaging 5 missed C1X putts a round and still winning. So yeah, interesting stuff. We'll see how that cracks in tomorrow. The other comp we had was the Preserve Championships.
Yes.
Which, breaking news just in from Preserve, Gannon Burr's very good.
Yeah, he likes disc golf and he's good at it.
He got the win ahead of Corey Ellis. Carter Aarons had a podium finish, tied with Anthony Barella in 3rd place.
I think that's the best that Carter's finished this year, actually, which is cool to see. He's thrown, he was DD sponsored, but now he's throwing an open bag. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. But, yeah, Gannon Burr, he was the highlight man. He had a 1088 event rating, which is the highest in history.
Shot 1099 a round, which is a little bit of a shafting. Give him 1 more point for the 1100, please.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll get smooth like I got gypped
at
yes,
you
Olinda.
did. You did say this. So your 1040 Olinda, what's it turned into?
Oh, like 1030 something. Yeah, it was dirty. Although my 950 in the second round got put up a little bit.
Oh, there we go.
So not as bad.
Anyway,
Anyway,
I've look at the ratings for ages, because I have literally in about 18 months, I've moved up or down 1 point. So
really?
Fair to say that I have plateaued.
actually, mate, the biggest thing that's helped my rating, I've stopped playing Invalid Leagues.
Oh, yeah, the league days entirely.
Anyway, sorry, we digress. But the Preserve Championship, if you want to go and just have if you're nerding out on a bit of stats, just go and have a look at Gannon's stats for the whole event. It's pretty nuts. Like a 76% birdie rate. I think he only
that birdie rate, he literally missed 13 out of 54 holes.
Yeah.
Which, Evelyn has almost missed that many putts in one round. And that's not how many putts Gannon missed. That's how many holes he did in birdie.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's insane. Like 93% fairway hits for the whole. Like for 60 holes, he's hit 56 fairways. C1 in reg, he was 67%, 87% in C2. His C1 putting was 96% out of 48 putts. He hit 46. Like
they are good numbers.
And it was 8 from 13 in C2 as well. So, yeah, look, they're just a couple of stats, but absolutely insane round from Gannon. And none of those other boys had a chance.
Oh, no chance at all. He was cruising home. Over in FPO, it was a lot closer by the looks of things. Silver got another win over Kristen Lapp by 2 shots, and Cadence Burge was in 3rd place.
Are we we kind of passed over that. Silver beat Kristen again, back to back.
Back to back.
Is the monkey officially off?
Potentially. Maybe Kristen was, distracted by the 5-story high rubber duck.
Yeah.
That was at the Preserve. I don't know.
How do I not have that in the notables? Oh my God. Like apparently people were just trying to buy tickets just to see the duck.
Just to see the duck. They actually asked Simon, what's a bigger draw card? Magnus Carlsen, chess prodigy, or the duck? And he's like, the duck quite easily.
I mean,
people want to see the duck.
We've all got a rubber duck in our bathtub, but do we have a Magnus in a tub? No.
I don't know. Australians, we're just like, we have big everything. Got the big pineapple. There's that big creepy koala that you drive past on the way to Adelaide. So I think the duck. I feel like we need this duck.
Yeah. So yeah, that was one of the notables. I did want to shout out Cadence Burge. She took third. She's just a name we're starting to see a little bit more often, which is cool. And she's a ginger, so good on her. We mentioned Carter. Now there was something that was quite interesting in the FPO. The Ali Smith.
I saw this
kind of blow up in the first round. I thought it was pretty interesting because she posted a video of herself. Explaining why she DNF'd, and she was basically saying she was having a bit of a rough time already. I can't remember exactly what hole they were going to. I think it was like only early on, like maybe hole 5. She'd had the longest drive on the hole. She was feeling it a bit. Didn't want to spend time with her card mates, so she walked back to the tee where she could still watch them throw. And during that time, I think one of the other girls threw. Apparently, when that other girl threw, she was called on a foot fault because Ali was all the way back. She didn't see it. She couldn't comment on it. So when she came back and rejoined the group, she was called for not being there, like she got a
courtesy violation because she should have been within eye shot of the people throwing.
Yeah,
which I don't know. I haven't looked at the wording around the rules. But you just have to be close enough to be able to make these calls.
That's 100% the rule. You have to be there. You have to be watching. Like, sure, if you just missed it, then you miss it. But if you're like, all the way down the rest of the hole and not engaging in it, then totally fair that you call her a courtesy.
And Ali has basically said that she was already in a bit of shambles for the day, not playing well, and then she got the courtesy violation and she couldn't get out of her head.
Yeah.
It rattled her. And then she's like, I'm not playing my best golf. I can't deal with the anxiety, so I'm going to pull out and DNF.
Yeah, I think she had they thought her drive was in bounds, and then the spotter signal, they couldn't find the drive. It was a lost disc. There was a penalty there. I think she ended up taking a 10 on the par 5, and then she pulled out.
Yeah. And, you put up on the stories, is this an 888 or a 999?
Yeah.
I'm looking at the page now. She got a 999, a DNF.
She did get a 999.
It's an 888, right? She's fully capable of playing. Everything that she's described is just one of the challenges of disc golf as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And she's chosen not to take on that challenge, not because she can't, but because she didn't want to. That's an 888, mate.
I mean, we're talking, I would expect during a round like that if you had to pull out like during the round, it would be like a physical injury that would take you out. I mean, she's basically talking about her mental game and being completely gone. But isn't that part of golf? That's resilience. That's
absolutely
get through it.
Now the plot thickens because she didn't mention who called her on the courtesy violation, but she's put this story out there, and then the person who shall remain nameless, Kona Montgomery, replied back saying, you got the quote here, Paddy. Read her out. She
says, "This is why no one calls the rules, because when you finally do." You are made out to be the bad guy and the world goes crazy. The one time I decide to speak up and I get all these haters coming at me, we are a self-governing sport and y'all are giving me a hard time for finally calling something. What's the point of having rules, ? This is what happens when things are taken out of context and people take things too personally.
Oh, I could not agree more with that. It sucks calling someone on a foot fault or a time violation or a courtesy violation in this case.
Yeah.
But good on Kona for having the huevos to call that because 100%. It's awkward. And this is, the consequence of that awkwardness is Ali has pulled out, but that is not Kona's problem. And, it's actually not fair for Ali to sort of put a little bit of the blame on her card mates for being the reason for her DNFing because all Kona was doing was calling the rules as she saw it, and good on her for doing so.
I mean, we've seen what's the MPO fella? Is it Cookie or something like having these
Cupcake?
Cupcakes, sorry.
Takes too long. Yep.
Actually, like having these mental blocks where
Yeah.
he can't actually putt and taking like 2 minutes for his putting routine, and him getting absolutely roasted. I mean, there wasn't really a whole heap of hate for someone like actually filming him and saying, "Hey, this is too." Like it all came to the player. So for Ali Smith to then jump on and trying to justify herself that she just cracked the sads and she was having a rough round. The other thing as well, they were a Carter 3.
Okay.
So when she pulled out, cracked the shits and pulled out, they had to wait for like an official to come
Really?
to help him finish the round too.
I didn't know that part of the
I'm
story.
like yeah. So
Dick move, Ali Smith.
yeah,
Straight up.
100% should be an 888.
Yeah.
That TD needs to get some balls and put it on there and call it as it is. And I think everyone who responded to our online little poll agreed. I think there was one person who said 999. I think it was Ali Smith. She anyway.
Fair to say she's probably not following us now. We have spent too long dwelling on the US side of things. Have you got any other notes to mention before we move on to the Aussie side of the tour?
Yes, I did have one last one. It was Tim, you wanted to talk about Simon on Tour Live, talking
That's a
about
good
the
point.
preserve. So we'll just play the clip and then, we'll
So a little bit of
discuss.
context. Simon had a little bit of say in the design of the preserve and redesigned some of the holes.
Yeah.
But there was a whole lot of OB out of the preserve, which
Yeah.
we know Simon is notoriously against OB lines.
Which I don't think he added. I think he maybe
Yeah.
like did one or two holes.
Yeah.
And then they said, oh, it's not hard enough. So they came in and
Flagged
added
it up.
Yeah. Anyway, this is his thoughts on that.
I mean, it's just this tough question of, do we want as hard as possible, as punishing as possible, with every hole could be a 2-stroke swing by like just marginally different shots? Is that exciting? Yeah, I think in some ways that's very exciting, especially down the stretch. But when I'm watching and down the stretch, there's 10, 15 players within 4 strokes of each other, which tends to be more on these shorter, more fair courses with less OB. Like we saw in Waco, for example, like we saw in Cascade as well. I find that a bit more entertaining, honestly, when I'm watching and when I'm part of it too. Like when I'm in the mix and 3 strokes is the difference between podium or 20th or 15th, like that's way more thrilling.
Yeah. So he thinks that's more exciting, having it nice and close and tight like that.
Yeah, I agree. And Uli was saying as well that like he likes those like birdie bash courses where it's just par 3, birdie or die. But there's also a place for super, super hard, super long, very challenging, OB everywhere, risky shots around every corner. So yeah, what are your thoughts?
Oh, man, I don't like people just adding in a shitload of OB just for the sake of trying to make it harder. Like
Me too. I don't like that concept of we need to add OB for score separation.
Yeah.
Like, no, don't like arbitrarily make the scores different because someone got an extra 3 meters of roll and it went OB, or someone's disc grabbed the ground and stuck on a dime so it stayed in bounds. Like, if that's the way you want to get separation in the scores, you're going about it all wrong.
Yeah.
And why do we want that separation in the scores? Like, nothing's better than a tiebreaker at the end of the tourney to see who wins, and for it to come down to who putts better or who had a better upshot, or who attacked the hole and got the reward and won that way.
Yeah.
I don't want to see, like, so many times we see tiebreakers decided by someone getting a bad reaction and it going OB, and then all of a sudden, that's the end of the sudden death. So yeah, I don't know. I think there's a place for both, but if you were to pick one, what style of tournament course would you prefer?
To be honest, I think disc golf has a really strong place in the woods. So I like a little bit of both. I think what we do out at Inverleigh is really cool. So, you've got that natural OB there. You've got a little bit of water, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And you've got to commit to your lines.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of open play. But, I mean, like you see at the Preserve, it's not, there's a lot of open shots. There's a lot of, like, they've got so much airspace to work with.
Yeah.
And I think we can manipulate the disc so much. It's kind of a bit lost in a big open field. So I kind of like that. I like seeing the shot shapes through trees. So yeah.
I like seeing 4 cards within 5 shots. That's my
hang on, sorry.
personal style.
Have I completely botched that
No,
question?
you absolutely have. Yep. So you're opting for like less OB lines and more
less OB lines. I'd like the close
Yeah.
play. They're not the two. Well, I mean, you kind of want to see it close. Like if someone's like if Gannon was like 11 strokes in front of you, the only way you're going to catch him is like by having if he blows up on a few holes. But I mean, if the only way to keep it really close, that birdie or die, if that's the way to keep it super tight, then that's the way you do it. I suppose.
I think just some TDs and stuff, they think that like it's a really, really bad thing if like everybody's birdieing a hole and people are only falling behind if they start to get pars.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily like potentially that can be a bad thing, but I don't really think that it is.
Yeah.
And I don't think you should be throwing OB down just to start getting people to get some bogeys.
Yeah.
Just let it be a birdie bash, and the person that putts the best, throws the best, is going to win, regardless of the luck or whether their disc happens to roll 5 centimeters on the right side or the wrong side of an artificial line.
I don't know if I would I think if we went to the preserve and played it, I don't know if it would be birdie or die.
Yeah,
like
that's
these
it.
guys are probably like making it look so easy.
Yeah.
But I mean, like there was definitely a few holes I was watching where I was like, oh, this is only like 80 meters or 90 meters. Like, should it be like most of the par threes, should they be like at 100 or 110? Like sometimes what they do over in, what's the course over in LA? Anyway, there was a lot of holes that were like, there were a lot of par threes that were at that 120, 130 length. And I'm like, okay, not many people are like, how else do you get score separation? It doesn't have to be a shitload of OB, but, could it be just a little bit more difficult, some of those par threes? I don't know. Anyway.
I just thought it was interesting hearing Simon, like he's designed some of these holes and then he's like, I've heard rumours that someone's gone out there and put in all this OB and he just clearly wasn't happy about it. So
fair enough.
Just thought it was an interesting point and, Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. We've got the Aussie stuff to recap. So we're going to have a quick look at the Caddo Challenge, which is in Carindale, Queensland. Paulie Phillips had a nice win, 6 shots ahead of Nicholas Holstead in MPO. Good performance by Nick. Oh, and Hayden Fattini and Ryan Johnson, actually. I just saw it's a tie for second between those 3 boys at 4 over par.
Yeah, right.
Paulie's the only one under par at 2 down, which is very nicely done. MP40, Aaron Curell had a win over Dominic Black. MA1, Joey Paul, the youngster, had one of his first wins in MA1. I can't remember if it's his first, but definitely good to see him getting another win
Joey?
in MA1. 2 shots ahead of Aldo Tame and Jack Smith.
Good Aussie name.
That's it.
Joey.
FA1, Sarah Champness had a win over Sarah Maybe. MA40, Mitch Graham had a win over Byron Hayes. MA50, John Bauer had a red-hot round and won by 1 shot over Brendan Derlew. MA2, Jacob Harvey had a win over Danny Raglis. FA2, Tanise Dark had a win. MA3, Michael Van Beek. FA3, Ash Dooley. And MA4, Craig Ferguson. So shout out to all those who battled it out at Caddo Crush. Looks like it was a hard course. Not many people under par. So tricky one.
And then there was another one in Townsville too?
The Winter Classic, probably played in 25-degree weather, as you pointed out last episode.
We got tagged in the photo that came out and
the sun was out?
The sun was out. There were shorts on.
No.
They were wearing hoodies, but I had to say, 22 degrees and you're still wearing a hoodie.
They're doing it tough up north. Chris Palazzi had a good win in MA1 over Daniel Jacob. MA40 was Brian Rawerda. He looks like he won in a 3-way playoff between Todd Chapman and Rob Lambert. All even par after 2 rounds, those 3 boys. Yep. MA2, Josh Miller had a huge win over Aidan Johnston. MA3, Jaden McClintock had a win. MA4, Ross Hayes. And MJ15, Mitchell Palazzi.
Very nice. Now, I was just going to quickly go back. The last episode we did, we covered the Rob Hancock Memorial and the Tinty.
But they were going down as we were recording, so we didn't see the results.
So
who got the chocolates?
Just quickly going back to it, at the Tinty tee-off MPO winner was Maddie Noblet over Caelan Borg. The other notables in that was Kalen aced twice. He got 2 tournament aces
Wow.
in that. Nath Parrish also got his first tournament ace. Curtis King got his first tournament. I'm not sure if it's the first, but he also got an ace, as well as Dan Hancock.
Crazy.
And
so
I
many
noticed-
aces.
Well, hole 11, was aced 3 times.
Oh, rightio.
So, yeah, must be just prime.
I mean, there
Prime
was
for the
still some
ace.
crazy wind in Tinty, so maybe the wind was wreaking havoc, but also putting discs in baskets.
Yeah,
Who knows?
The wind apparently was savage. Youngblood, I wanted to shout him out as well. He had a birdie streak of 9 holes in a row.
Wow. 9
Yeah.
holes.
9 holes. So very, very solid. Aiden Swanson as well. He's a young fella. He's MJ, I think 15. I'm not sure how much he's been playing, but he cleaned up his first round. His first round wasn't 2 rounds, but he cleaned up the next round by 16 strokes. And I thought that's pretty damn solid.
Good to
So,
see people improve.
yeah, nice one there, Aiden. Now, because it was so windy at this tournament, I did put out a question on Instagram about what are your tips for playing in the wind.
Okay.
And we had a few answers. So Zach came out and he said he's a mental tip. That he had to learn the hard way, but he's like everyone else is struggling when you're out there playing. So don't stress about your score. Just take it shot by shot. I think that's pretty.
That's
solid.
a good point. It is easy to get in your own head and focus on your mistakes, but
Yeah.
everybody else is probably going to even it out and have those same mistakes at some point.
Yeah. Timmy, you just said Taipan.
I mean, yeah, that's literally just in the wind. I think don't worry about speeding up and go as stable as possible. So
Yeah.
Taipan.
Predictable is better. Matt
Keep it low. Keep it low.
Yes. And nose down. Or nose neutral, sorry, I should say. Matt Crawford said, make sure your swag is pegged down. So, it's good to have somewhere to sleep after your round.
Oh, I reckon there might be a story there.
I think
from
there's
Matt
a story
Crawford.
there.
That's funny.
Matt, please let us know.
That's great advice, though. Just peg down that swag.
I don't know if this one's related, but Marlon said fly a kite. Because, he said fly a kite. At least you can still have fun.
That's it. I mean, some of my throws, they're like a kite
Yeah.
when I put them up in the air.
Parrish came out and said, make sure you do some filming because you will see some of the most bizarre reactions to your discs
absolutely.
that are just indescribable. So I reckon
Everyone
that's one
remembers
too.
when Pritt's forehand came back at him and
Yeah.
made Jomez.
At New South.
That was sick.
I think I was. Yeah, I played that tournament. That was shocking.
Oh, that's crazy. So funny. I just love the reaction of Pritt. Like, what the
Yeah.
hell? That's my disc.
So funny.
Negative distance.
And then Brady from across the water has said he's just don't play in wind.
Agreed.
But then he said, for real though, just manage your expectations, take it slow and play safe. And I think that's good advice too.
Agreed.
All right, moving on, we had the Rob Hancock Memorial. So when we reviewed it at the time, Jacob Davies had a nice lead. He kept that lead and won the MPO. So nice one there, Jacob. If there was FP40 and Joe McCamish actually got out on top over Sue.
Huge.
Nice one there. The other notables, I just wanted to shout out. So MA50 went down to a playoff between Lotus King and Del Beatty. And Lotus took the chocolates on hole 1 in the playoff. I think he parred and Del bogeyed. So very nice there. Well done to Lotus. MA2 also went to a playoff. It was between Aiden and Gethin. Both birdie the first hole, and then Aiden wins it on the next hole. He takes a par, and Gethin took a double. So yeah, I guess it really sucks Gethin beaten, doesn't it?
Oh, right, eh?
And then MA3, this is my final shout out. We nearly had a chase car champion in
really?
MA3. Yeah, Leah Manning, mate.
Oh, good on her.
She was sitting in 7th after this first round, and then comes back to take 2nd.
Almost got there.
After round 2. Yeah, she almost got there. She was 1 stroke off the hot round in MA3 in the second round.
That's huge by Leah.
Very nice by Leah. And that's all I have for that. I think next up, Timmy, we've got a couple of tourneys. Do we want to go through the, the Disc Golf Pro Tour?
Yeah, we got the Discmania Challenge presented by True Bank, which
Yep.
is in Iowa, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't exactly know the course.
I mean, I'm tipping Gannon. You can tip whoever you like, but Gannon is unplayable at the moment.
I mean, it's got to be in it. All right, you can take Gannon, the highest rated player.
Easy, mate. You
and
couldn't
I'll
tip
say-
against him. No way.
Well, the only person I think who could do it is AB.
Okay.
I
Just
have no
look at
idea what the
ratings.
course
Look
is
at-
like.
Look at Austin Turner creeping up there in the top 10.
Yeah, he's
It's
having
huge.
a great year.
Yeah.
Great year. But yeah, all right. So you say Gannon, I'll say AB.
And what about
See
the
how that
ladies? We got both Silva and Kristen playing.
Oh, I hope so. Just enjoying this battle now.
We
Holland,
don't.
no, we don't. Holland Hanley is the highest rated at 991. Missy Gannon's there. Scoggins, Murch, Hansen. Yeah, I don't know. Who do you think?
We've got Natalie Ryan on the list too, so always a controversial one. I'm going to go with Holland.
Holland?
She didn't look too great in the last couple of comps, but I think she's the best of the bunch.
I think Missy's due for one, so I'll say her then.
Depends on the payouts, I guess, for Missy.
But,
anyway, we've got more
in-
important stuff. We've got Melbourne Celebrates. We've got the Queensland Open. We've got a few nice comps coming up.
I think we might have a pod before the Queensland Open, so we'll leave that one. But Melbourne Celebrates is coming up. So Kaylin's jumping up. Kaylin Harris and he is TDing his first tournament.
And it sounds sick. So there's different divisions on each day. So Saturday and Sunday are different tourneys. Sunday and different layouts as well. So Sunday has a pro level layout, par 63, with some distance and some shot shaping required, and par 64 with some shorter tees and appropriate shots on Saturday for the easier division. So that's good stuff to Kaylin for putting out that. And there's still places. So if you're thinking about it, you're on the fence and wanting to sign up, so far the forecast looks good.
Okay.
I can confirm there is a bright burning thing in the sky out there today. Potentially we're going to see that same thing next week.
Oh, look
Maybe. Don't hold me to it. But if you're on the fence,
we're making a call pretty early.
that's it. If you're on the fence, sign up, because it sounds like Kaylin's putting on a good show so far.
Well, look, we're coming back to Bandura as well, which Timmy, we played. You know, I've maybe heard one or twice. You played all right about in the round one.
Regardless of that, it was just a fun course. Fun place to play disc golf. And look, I had my first throw in 5 weeks the other night, and I was awful.
Okay.
But we're still keen. We're going to get out to Celebrates and have a bit of fun.
Yeah. So if you are on the fence, because they're doing this 1 to 2 day tournament style, there's so many spots. So jump on. It's a great place to go and play disc golf. And hey, if we keep getting more good numbers, maybe it could be another permanent course for Melbourne. And you know what? They sorely need something with a bit of length to it. Yeah.
Now, Paddy, I see that you've got a little bit of cash in front of you there, mate.
Well,
have we?
See if we can hear this.
That's your 2025 pro purse right there.
Yeah.
$5 gold.
Well, I was thinking it could be a little bit of fun. We sort of pick one person, or you know, we do our little tips and that sort of stuff. And it kind of goes by the wayside. So why don't we make it a little bit more interesting? I have $5 in $1 coins right here, and I think we could do some dollar bets. A couple of little head-to-heads, Timmy.
All right. So you're going to give me some odds on some players here?
Yeah, well, you know, we can just throw it out, and I might just chuck a few things out there and see, you know, you can chuck some stuff too and see what we reckon. But, you know, if we're looking at the old MPO for Celebrates.
Yep.
Who's pretty tight? So,
look at Daz
Darren,
and Mark. We'll just see Marcus Filotta back.
That's the first thing I looked at too.
Mate, they're 50. Daz Stay-Smith coming at 958. Marcus at 957. Marcus is just coming back into the country. I don't know how much disc golf he's been playing, but that could be very, very tight.
All right.
Who do you want?
So Daz to beat Marcus. Whoa, Daz, he was struggling on the putting green in Masters, but
tell you what,
it's tough.
I'm going to jump out of the block. I'm going to take Marcus.
You're going to take Marcus?
Yeah, he's a highs flight boy these days, hot Marcus. So give me a buck on Marcus, please.
All right, look, Darren's been away too. He's been over in Canada, so I don't know if he's been playing much as well. But all right, I'm happy to take Daz there. There's the first $1.
Now, look, the rating maybe suggests that I have an advantage here, but I want to throw out Tim Bowen versus Ryan Michelle.
Oh, mate.
I'm at 967.
100%.
Ryan Michelle's at 949. And look, I played my first round with Ryan, when was it? 2 nights ago. And I was shocking. And Ryan went like 10 down on the back 8 holes at Deakin.
He's been fine.
Solo Eagles.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tight one. I almost want to put my dollar on Ryan Michelle, but I'm going to back myself.
Yeah.
As long as you're happy to take the Adonis himself.
I was going to say, look, I'm happy to take if you feel weird about backing yourself.
I'll give you some stats just to maybe help your decision here.
All right, go on.
I've got a maximum deadlift of about 90 kilograms.
Oh, good for you.
I think Ryan comes in at about 270 kegs. So the bar be bending for Ryan.
Squats do come into disc golf.
Squats. I take the weights off the bar for the squats. I'm happy with just the bar.
All right.
And Ryan Michelle might
happy to
squat the whole squat rack, I think. So
there's the dollar, mate. I'll take Ryan Michelle to get the chocolates over Timmy.
All right. So you've got. Actually, you've got 2 lefties. You've got Daz and Ryan Michelle. I've got myself and Marcus.
Well, here's the next one for you. They're pretty closely rated, but I think it could be tight. Chris Reynolds and Nathan Parrish.
Oh, give me Nath.
You want Nath?
I'm taking all the Heiser Flight boys.
All right, I'll give you that one.
Blatantly.
I'll give you that one. I'll say Chris Reynolds, but
Okay.
Parrish is he's been playing pretty good. He's been doing all right. So
yeah.
there's the next one. All right.
Now we got to take Huss v Sarah Lee. Good to see Sarah Lee back playing.
Of course we do.
898 versus 882 in Sarah Lee. We've got
Sarah Lee, just
the reigning-
quickly, mate, you need to update your PDGA. It still says you're in, what is it? Queenstown SA State ACT.
ACT.
Nah, mate, you're Victorian now.
She's a nomad these days, right? She got a home? I don't know.
I think she's moved to Melbourne.
Okay.
It's official. Yeah.
Well, Sarah Lee v Huss. Huss is the reigning Australian champ, if you don't mind.
Mate, that is tough.
I'll let you take your pick there. Who do you want?
Oh, gee whiz. I'll say, I'd love to say Huss, but I'm going to throw it out there. I'm going to back Sarah because
You're taking Sarah?
I'll take Sarah because she's Heiser Flight, and you can take Huss. She's
dirty. I'll take Huss, though. I think you've given me the winner there.
All right, there we go.
Now, the last one, I need to scroll down to MA1, and we've got Alan Brunsting.
You don't want to touch MP40?
Don't want to touch MP40. We've scared Ruben into MP40. So
yeah,
he's got a 957 Ruben right there. He'd be tie fourth in MPO.
Could I throw just a wild one out there? Mm-hmm. Tim Ware. This is across divisions.
Okay, Tim Ware, 920.
Tim Ware, 920 to beat Alan Brunsting 926.
That's a good one. I like it.
Yeah.
Trying to think back to Melbourne Celebrates last year. I think Tim Ware played well. Did he not?
He did. Tim Ware's been playing quite well.
I want to take Tim.
Yeah?
He's got a great name. That's a good start.
That's good stuff.
So we'll roll with him to beat
mate,
the
I
one
should
and
have
only
been more
Alan
clear.
Brunsting.
I wanted him to, but no worries. All right, I'll give it to you, mate. All right, Alan Brunsting. That is the last one. $5
All right.
on the line.
I want to recap the picks. So you've got Daz to beat Marcus.
Yep.
You've got Ronalds to beat Parrish. And you've got Ryan Michelle to beat me. Mm-hmm. You've got Sarah Lee to beat Huss. And you've got Alan to beat Tim Ware.
All right.
And I've got the rest.
That's it.
I might make $5 full here.
You might. All right. So put some money on the line. I like it. If you're listening and you think you've got some thoughts on our tips, chuck them in. Or if you've got some head-to-heads coming up as well, would love to hear them.
Mate, just let me know if you're backing me over Ryan Michelle. That's the only one I care about.
Do you know what? And I think if we're playing together during the tournament, I think we need to probably have a couple of little dollars in our
side
pocket.
bets. Yeah, it's a
maybe
good
just
point.
some little
It's a good
side
point.
ones. Hey, is Paddy going to hit this C2? Probably not.
That's it.
Yeah, I think we should, get that going. All right. Next up, I think we're going to do some trash or cash.
I'm Alan Brunsting from Melbourne Disc Golf, and you're listening to the Tee Off.
Oh, mate, I'm loving
Cash.
this new.
It's cash.
Absolute cash. All right, so we had a pretty good trash or cash sent in from Huss. She wants to know, is it trash or cash, the low rounds that aren't included in ratings? So like the ratings are calculated using the last 12 months of your PDGA rated rounds. Mm-hmm. If any one of those ratings is either more than 100 points below your average rating or more than 2.5 standard deviations below your rating, whichever number is smaller,
It doesn't count.
that round will not be included. Mm-hmm. What are our thoughts?
Look, it's a very good point. Like, why are you including the outliers above your rating, but excluding the ones that are below your rating? That makes no sense. I've popped off and shot a 1038 round. That's not my normal rating, Paddy. I'm more closer to sort of the 960 region. But that one counts. But the 900 rounds that I've chucked in, they don't count. Makes no sense. Huss is spot on there.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's trash.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm going to say it's absolutely cash because I mean you can have a really really off day. I mean, and like where we are in our bit of a ratings hole as well. Like if I had a bit of an average day out of Inverleigh League and I'm not, if I shot 5 down, which felt all right, that could be like significantly bad because, most of our upcoming players, they're all far lower rated than us. So it's not a real sort of justification on how you are playing. And I think it would definitely hurt to have some of those ratings.
Well, here's an argument.
Those rounds actually counted.
So just say everybody has 2 or 3 rounds that don't count. Should the person that has no rounds that don't count, who's managed to keep all of their rated rounds close to their rating, they don't get any reward for that consistency?
But it kind of shows where they're at, though, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, I feel like it shows where they're at, but the ratings that don't have the included bad rounds don't accurately show where those players are at because those bad rounds are part of that player. Huss is onto something, Paddy. I'm calling trash.
Yeah. No, I just like it because I don't want those rounds on
don't get
there.
me wrong. Like when I had those stinkers at Eruption and I saw that they weren't included, I was like, oh, that's so amazing.
That's nice.
Yeah.
But look.
But I threw those rounds, Paddy, and I felt guilty because they should have been part of my rating.
Should it be more than 12 months though? Because I mean, 12 months in Australia, that's only like 6 rounds really.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Or 6 tournaments.
I think if you made it longer, because you see those people that just leave for 12 months, wait for their ratings to lapse, and then come, they're all of a sudden they're back.
Yeah,
and you're like, if we made it 2 years, we wouldn't see him for 2 years.
I mean, what's Dill rated at the moment?
It's a good
question.
question.
You know what I mean? Like, because the young fella, he's definitely injured. Like, so
anyway, back to the question: is it trash or cash? Do you want the rounds to be excluded if they're significantly below your rating?
Don't worry about Dill. He's dropped a lot. It doesn't.
It's a trash or cash question. Say trash or cash.
No, I'm cash. I'm cash, mate. I'm cash. I want it. But
we're tiebreaking.
We're tiebreaking.
But I mean,
we don't have tiebreaker.
Huss has asked the question, and
should we call Fergie?
Huss has insinuated that it's trash, so I think it has to be trash. Yeah. She's the tiebreaker in this case.
She has said, "What other sport allows your crappiest efforts to be ignored?"
That's a good question. Strengthening the argument as we speak. Which button's trash?
There you go.
That's garbage.
Now, Matt Hunter has sent in a good one.
Yep.
Trash or cash, throwing ultimate frisbees in tournaments. Are they PDGA legal to throw like an Ultra Star?
Yeah.
They are?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Otherwise you couldn't do it.
That sounds awfully trash to me.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, I've seen Paddy Thorpe do it. I remember Tunnel Ridge Champs, hole 1 was like a straight downhill shot, 60 metres. Most people were throwing a little forehand zone or justice out to the left. And Thorpos thought, I'll just hyzer flip my Ultra Star.
Yeah.
And the glidiest thing ever will get down to the ground exactly when I need it to, downhill. And it didn't work out, Paddy. Fair to say it did not work out. So
this is something I don't follow Ultimate that much, but like, do they call it off for weather and stuff if it's too windy?
It's a good question. They should, because it's just straight up not fun.
I mean, like, there's no way I would pull out an Ultra Star if there was any amount of wind. There's no, like, that on the course, absolute trash. Like, it's just not going to work. But I mean, these, a lot of these Ultimate guys, there's like a lot of them that have come over have, represented Australia or at some point. So they're pretty handy with it.
Paddy, it's literally the equivalence of playing tennis with a ping pong ball, mate.
Yeah.
Like, Ultra Stars have absolutely no place in our disc golf sport. Yeah. So, trash.
Yeah, absolute trash. Absolute trash. It goes without saying, but yeah.
That's garbage.
Now, I can't remember if I've done this one before, but I did send this one in, Paddy.
Not checking scores during a round.
Is it trash or cash? So the arguments for and against. Not checking the score during the round means you're not stressing about the scores. You're just out there focusing on your game. Checking the scores allows you to decide whether you need to be aggressive, play it safe. You can make adjustments on the fly based on the score and the situation that you're in at the time. Which one's the better tactic?
Look, I would say to not check the scores is good. Like, that's cash.
Okay.
I don't think you should be checking your score. It
Okay.
just, like, if you want to be, like, dialed in to the tournament, to the hole, you could be, like, up by one, you could be down by one. Shouldn't really matter, hey, what do you got to do on this next hole? You got to bet it. So just focus in on what you got to do. And the less you're thinking about, oh, what's this guy doing? Or how's he going to play? Or, oh, he's, like, stuffed up that shot, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, whatever number you're on, that's not going to affect that. But the one thing that, you know, is happening now, like, it's pretty hard to not check score. Like, everyone has to now be on the digital scorecard and putting it in. So, I don't know, you subconsciously, you're still probably going to do it. But how it affects your game, I would say not checking your score is cash.
I'm saying it's trash because really you should use everything to your advantage, and knowing exactly where you're at in terms of the score is very important because it does determine whether you have to be aggressive on a risky hole or whether you can lay it up and play it safe. And checking the score, making the right decision there, that's a tactic you should use if you can. I also find it annoying not to be able to say the scores around people in the group that don't want to know the scores. Like, you don't want to be like walking on eggshells around people when you're like talking about the scores and talking about what the other card's doing. Yeah. You know, it's just a little bit less fun, less banter.
You call it, but like when you're focused in like that, if I don't want to know, like if I'm one stroke or up or two strokes back, if like I'm trying to focus on one thing, like, hey, I'm not thinking about that, I'm focusing on this, like, and I'll put my focus in, and then someone comes up and says, hey, you know, you're one stroke down, or something like that, like, fuck off. Like,
But that's what a tournament is.
I'm focusing in, like,
do you want the tournament?
I don't need that from anyone else. I don't.
That's the tournament. That's why we pay $80 and we sign up and we rock up on the same day and play the tournament.
Yeah, but it
feels like the people
it's like having someone like when you're about to putt and you're like, hey, don't miss this putt.
Yeah,
like that's what it is.
I mean,
like,
that's literally what we do in basketball. Like, people are like,
yeah, we're not.
You might want to hit this shot, mate. Yeah. Like, well, you know, MJ taking the free throw. This one's for you, Mutombo, or whatever.
Mate, you're getting courtesy violated.
It sounds like what you want to do is just play a solo round and submit the scorecard, and then find out later if you won or not. That's what I mean. The people that don't want to know the scores, that's what it sounds like. What it is.
I mean, like having the live score, having it all there is like, I still check my score and that sort of stuff. But if like I can choose to do it, like I want to be able to just control that and like don't check in here, check in when I need to, and control that sort of stuff. But yeah, I think overall, not checking the scores during a
Didn't expect this one to be so heated. It's trash. Yeah. I want to hear what people have to say.
Yeah, let's throw it out there. I mean, I tell you what, when back in the day when it was all paper and you come in and like putting it all out, like that's trash. Like,
yeah, it just sounds like, as you said, we're all playing our own solo round and then just find out at the end who won. That's not
funny how like, but
it's not a tournament.
It's kind of, but that's sort of what you like. Yes, you're out there versing other people, but like, how many times have you heard like, I'm out there, like I'm playing the course, like, you know. Essentially, otherwise you're playing match play, but like I'm out there, I'm like, all right, I'm trying to shoot the best I can on this course. It's really just me in that. Whatever the other guys do is what they do. But like, I play my golf better when I'm like, hey, I'm just focused. This is what I'm going to do on this hole. This is what I'm going to do this hole. I've got my game plan. I'm going to stick to that. Yeah. Like, interesting. We digress. The next one, cards of 3.
Cards of 3.
In tournaments.
Pros and cons. It's quicker, less waiting around. Cons, less people looking for your disc if you lose one. Yeah. That does suck.
Yeah.
And I don't know, less fun. Particularly, you know, let's be honest, there's some duds out there to play with. Yeah. And if you're stuck with a couple of duds and there's only the 3 of you.
It's a long round.
It's a long round.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think trash. I don't really like, even if it's a good card of 3, it's like, I prefer a card of 4.
Yeah, okay.
I just like 4.
I don't mind the speed. I do love to just get up and throw and just get in and out.
Move
you know?
quick,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to say trash.
Trash?
Yeah.
There we go.
That's garbage.
And you've piggybacked off mine. You said Cards of 5.
Cards of 5 is unanimous trash.
Yeah.
It's too freaking slow, man.
That's garbage.
And then the worst thing about Cards of 5 is like you've just seen 4 people throw and you take a step forward and then you're like, oh, no, wait, it's 5. There's another person.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you're so ingrained
That's
in
the
your head. of,
worst.
like,
yeah. Just try and be Cards of 4.
That's
I like
it.
that. All right. Next segment. Should I do it? Yeah.
I'm Alan Brunsting from Melbourne Disc Golf, and you're listening to the Tee Off.
Oh, thanks, Al. Then next segment. No worries. This is popping up a bit here, Timmy. The Westgate Cup.
Okay.
There's a lot of people. We haven't had it since COVID.
So Westgate Cup, for people that don't know,
Yeah.
Westgate is the bridge that bridges Melbourne to Geelong.
Yeah.
And we used to consistently each year have a Geelong versus Melbourne tournament called the Westgate Cup.
Yeah.
And it was a mixture of teams and solo rounds and best shot doubles and alternate shot doubles.
Yep.
And Geelong's been whooping Melbourne's for since the dawn of time, right?
Melbourne used to shit on us.
Really?
Yeah.
This was before my time.
Yeah, this is back in the day of like Joel Patton and
Okay.
Joshy Smith and
Right.
stuff. Yeah. Mark
See, this
Hardy,
is
there was
history
a lot
this was history I did not know.
Yeah.
I just assumed that the dominant era of your Paddy Robinsons, your Dill Feldmans, and
Mate,
Jazz, Fergie, Cassie.
we were Dill Feldman was he was a child.
Yeah, yep. Still is, mate.
Yeah.
It's just a big one. He's a big child.
But no, then we started to get, better at disc golf. And the last 2, maybe potentially 3, Geelong has taken the chocolates and whooped Melbourne. That's for sure. But there's been a bit of chatter, especially
they're chirping up because it's our turn to host and we've been scared, mate.
Yeah.
Flat out. I'm going to hand up. We've been scared. We've
So-
seen the emergence of the Deerosses and the Leos, and you got your Velottas, you got your Dazzers, you got your Perrys. They've
Yep.
got an Australian champ now in Melbourne, Paddy.
They do.
So it's
Yeah.
it's not as going to be smooth sailing as as maybe it would have been a few years ago.
Well, here's one for you as well. Mm-hmm. Are you a Geelong member?
Barwon Valley, I don't think I am this year, actually.
No.
I haven't played a league for yonks.
Me either.
My son plays basketball on Saturday and Sunday mornings now, so morning league days are out of the equation.
So Melbourne, if you want to actually, challenge Geelong, it's probably a good time to do it because I don't know. I don't think Cassie's a Geelong member. I'm not. I don't know if Dylan is. Yeah, so it could be good.
Do we get a handicap? Because pretty much every disc golfer in Geelong has 1 to 2 kids. And the Melbourne, they don't have any
Mate,
kids, no obligations.
We don't need a handicap
No, we
at
don't.
all. We would still walk all over him.
Definitely not scared, just very disorganised. But I would love for the Melbourne Cup to come back.
All right.
We should do a mock draft, I reckon.
Or the Westgate. Cup.
Melbourne
Yeah.
Cup. Westgate.
Westgate Cup. Where would you hold it? Geelong's got a host, so where are you hosting?
I mean, can we do 2 courses?
We can do anything, mate.
But I like a deacon. I do
Yeah.
like a deacon. Inverleigh, always good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't
Mixture
do
of those two.
match play at Barwon?
At Barwon.
At Barwon?
I mean, we would win at Barwon by 25 points. We'd get points in every matchup at Barwon.
Mate.
Have you seen Alan Brunsling play at Barwon?
Yes, I loved it.
He is MA4 at Barwon.
Yeah.
Alan's quite a good disc golfer. Put him at Barwon Valley. And Ronalds, put him at Barwon Valley.
Yeah.
We're seeing 6 to 10 over.
Yeah.
Minimum in terms of bogeys.
That's bold, you thinking they're on the team. But,
That's a good point. We should do a mock draft. Mate, I don't think I'm on the team these days.
yeah, I don't know.
But we'll see.
I do like Deacon and maybe the Whites at Imber, something like that.
Yeah.
How would you run it? Would you solely match play? Would you do a bit more like the world teams and have a bit more, or your Ambrose, or what was the one we used to do? Hank used to run.
Teams of 4.
Yeah.
The Southwest.
Southwest
I don't know.
Classic Cup style.
I mean, you just want to get more people involved. So doing your teams of 4 and stuff like that could be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Doing some triples would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what we should do, Paddy, and we'll save it for another episode, is have a look at the current landscape of Melbourne and Geelong and maybe do a bit of a mock draft.
Yeah.
And if we see that there's a clear top 8 or a clear top 16 or a clear top 20 that's going to be nice and even, that's where we go. And we can start thinking about a format from there.
So I'm going to just add one little thing into that as well.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Geelong and Melbourne. Yeah. Okay. We've got Ballarat.
Yeah?
We've got Inverleigh. There's a lot of these little clubs around.
Inverleigh's Geelong,
Do
mate.
you-
I don't.
Nah.
There's all these blurred lines. Inverleigh's Geelong.
Oh, mate, I'll play for Inverleigh.
Yeah, right, eh? I'll play for Geelong and stuff Inverleigh.
But yeah, do you invite some other people to the table, and have it a bit more, open it up a bit more?
Man, there's not a bridge going to Ballarat, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we're calling it. It's called Westgate. I think it's Geelong v Melbourne. There's a bit of history
Just keep
there.
it for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Anyway, I'm sure the Ballarat boys might have something to say about that. But yeah,
Mate, I'll have something to say about it if all of a sudden I see Nath Parrish signed up for the Melbourne side in Westgate. That's where, hang on, we're going to have a good hard look at this.
all right.
Anyway, next episode.
Next step, we'll do deep dive. I like it.
Yep.
All right, moving on.
I'm Alan Brunsting from Melbourne Disc Golf, and you're listening to the Tee Off.
Awesome.
Don't you have anyone else that said that, or just our?
Yeah, no, I've got more people.
We're
Yeah.
dangerously throwers focused this episode, Paddy.
Yeah,
Dangerous.
are
I generally don't like to bring them up at all. But,
I've got Jeff Brunsting in there.
yeah,
Should
chuck Jeff in there.
Yeah, all right, I'll chuck Jeff in there. The better Brunsting. All right, we did mention this last episode that we were going to look at the Dream 18.
Okay.
That we were going to do it ourselves. And I like that, so we've run with it. We've got our first 3 holes. If you're out there and you think we're way off, let us know, because we don't want to hear any of this stony hole 2 shit anymore. This is the best hole on the course, the best of Australia.
The best of the best of the best, sir.
Yeah.
With honours.
And we're happy to call it if it's a tournament layout of a certain year, or if it's the permanent course, that's fine. We want to try and find the best.
So having said that, what's the best hole 1, Paddy?
I mean, probably easy Mundaring.
Yeah, Mundaring. It's hard to beat.
Gold layout.
Big par 4, down the hill. OB left, OB right. Need to land it in the fairway, and then that approach shot can be pretty hairy.
Nice little funnel.
Yeah.
So
honourable mentions I think we had were Poimina.
Yeah.
And Pine Rivers, auditorium hole.
Yes.
We're about to play Queensland Open. That hole is very, very tidy.
Yeah.
I remember Cameron Ford hit that auditorium.
Yeah.
And
that
landed in
saved him.
bounds.
And landed in bounds.
What an absolute tin ass. Yeah, they're honourable mentions.
Yeah. But Mundaring takes the cake for us, I think.
Agreed.
Actually, it'd be interesting to add some of the Mundaring, the Worlds course, the Black course.
Haven't seen it.
There's some good holes there
Yeah.
too. But yeah, Mundaring Gold Course, hole 1.
All right.
Lock in. Hole 2. Now we
Stony Creek.
had a bit we had a bit of a debate about this one, but we've landed on Pine Rivers. Hole 2. Locked it in. It's this nice par 4, dog leg to the left. You got to have that really solid placement shot in between some trees. There's a bit of water on your right to deal with.
Yeah.
And then you got a nice straight shot toward basket. That's just on that little bit
It's
of
on that ledge. Yeah, it's just a nice technical hole. I think the other one that we were really strongly considering was Crater Lakes, the eruption hole 2, which is just a super challenging par 4 and a fantastic hole.
Yeah.
Maybe lost a little bit of foliage on the right-hand side to make the tee shot a bit less interesting, I guess. Or maybe it's opened up some options. You be the judge.
Yeah.
But the chocolates goes to Pine Rivers just because it maybe sees a few more birdies, pars and bogeys, whereas ain't nobody birdieing eruption hole 2, particularly in any sort of average wind out there.
I think I've birdied it once. I think. But yeah, it's I'll tell you what, how you fix Crater Lake, just get rid of that middle hole. The middle tree.
Middle tree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just have it so that you can actually pump like a 180-metre drive.
I've said it once or twice, but I would love to see people play from that tee pad up to the basket that's on the hill. So don't take a right at the last part of the hole and go to the one that's on the mound. Go left of those trees up to that basket on the very hill as a par 5 would be pretty sick, I reckon.
All right,
and then the other hole that goes across the road, make that go to the basket on the mound.
Oh, look out. Tim redesigner.
Mate, there could be some pretty sick holes.
Yep.
I think there's a little bit of crisscrossing in terms of walking if I do it that way, but actually be really fun as a safari layout.
All right, and hole 3, we haven't landed on exactly yet, but we're going to go through it. So
It's got to be Barwon Valley hole 3.
Barwon
Just
Valley.
a nice 85 metre forehand.
Yeah. Love it.
all day.
Ace chance. Yeah.
So good.
So, I mean, the courses that really are in our top 5, we've got Western, Pine Rivers, Inver, Poimina, and Crater Lakes.
Yeah, okay.
All of them have some good hole 3s. Timmy, you were coming in pretty strong with Western.
Western hole 3. It's you're throwing a righty backhand off the tee through the tunnel of trees out into the open. Mm-hmm. Then you've got to cross over the OB into that little island.
Yep.
The Patunk hole, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
It's a good hole. It sees a lot of high scores and it is birdieable. Oh, it's just a good hole.
I was mentioning Pine Rivers. I like the Pine Rivers hole 3. I think it's
par 3.
Par 3.
Yeah.
It's got the basket sort of near the water. You got this like nice little forehand highs, like flip up kind of shot. Or you can take a righty backhand kind of flex line or a bit of roll. Yeah, very difficult birdie to get, but when you get it, it feels amazing.
Yeah.
That was
Good hole.
probably my one. I do like Inverleigh as well.
Inverleigh hole 3 is pretty tough. Yeah,
Very
it's a tough hole.
Does not see many birdies at all. So I think they're our top ones. Poimina, honourable mention, which is the tight one with the water. 3 is that big forehand. It's got the water.
That hole's no good, mate. Don't honourably mention that one.
No mention there.
Dishonourable discharge hole 3 Poimina.
And Crater Lakes is the Tombstone. Is that Tombstone hole?
Yeah, Tombstone for the eruption layout. That's a good hole.
It's a good hole, but it's probably a bit too easy, too many birdies.
Yeah.
So out of Western, Pine Rivers and Inver. Inver Gold.
I'm going to go with Western. That's my vote.
Western? Mm-hmm. All right. I'm happy to go with it for the only reason that you get, every time I play that hole, you get a lot of kangaroos.
Yeah.
And if we're talking the Aussie Dream 18, you got to have a good solid amount of kangaroos on there.
Good point.
So I'll go that one.
Alrighty.
All right.
Save the next 3 holes for our next episode, mate. We'll start with hole 4.
Yeah. And hey, look, we might listen to your suggestions if you're listening and you want to throw one out there for hole 4, 5, 6. Mm-hmm. Chuck it out there. We'll see what we think. But we're not doing any more voting because that was way too much time. Alrighty, Timmy. I think that brings us to the end of the episode. Mm-hmm. Unless there's anything more you want to talk about.
No, mate. I need a Barocca. I'm going to go have a little nap.
Yeah? You don't want me to hit that Alan Brunson?
No, I don't.
Okay, cool. I'm going to delete that straight after this episode, I think. But yeah, thank you for listening to another episode of The Tee Off. Please make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Send in any questions or topics you would like us to discuss. Until next time, we hope you get out and play some disc golf with your mates.
So that's the end of the episode. Thanks for listening. I don't know why you're still here. We have to go see our families. Seriously, just go play disc golf.